Wow, that gets me every time. It's still sinking. It plays the intro and it's still sinking. That's crazy. Give it a second, Jedediah. It's sinking.
It's showing you on.
It's showing us as live.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's showing you on.
It's showing us. Oh yeah, I see it now. There we go. There we go. All right, all right. Hello and welcome back to Relationshipping, everybody. I'm your host, LaDonna Raeh, and today, look, Lorenzo, you got to jump in and say your name for me.
Hey, look. Hey, y'all, this is Lorenzo T. Hughes, and we're here on Relationshipping
Yeah,
with the LaDonna Ray Show.
yeah. So watch this. Today's topic is one that hits close to home for many residents here in Thornton Township and beyond. Now, if you're not from Chicago or the south suburbs of Chicago, you've still heard this somewhat of a reality show, I like to call it, right? With vital services on hold and an ongoing stalemate in leadership, people are left asking, what's next?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's very interesting, too, because, I mean, we're diving into a story that's affecting thousands of residents right here in our own backyard. I mean, the shutdown of services at the Thornton Township. I mean, this isn't just politics. I mean, it's real life. I mean, impacting like real people.
Yeah, well, is
I
it
mean,
like real people?
yes,
I think they
real
are real
people.
people for real. I mean, there was a meeting today that just really struck a nerve. The attitude is still arrogance. From Tiffany Henyard, she's the super mayor, and I think everyone keeps putting that in air quotes. Air quotes have been used more with her name than anything, but she calls herself the super mayor, but she has been a super tragedy, unfortunately, with being the first youngest black mayor of Dalton. She could have done so much more. And I was talking about this even on WVON this morning about how, or actually all week, about how she could have taken this to another level. So, Lorenzo, we have a special guest today who is
Mm.
a former alderman candidate, and he's a respected activist and a voice for change in communities across the city. We're going to welcome Mr. Jedidiah Brown to the show.
Jedediah Brown, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How are you? Glad to be with you.
Thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it because you've been pretty active in what's been going on with the Tiffany Henyard case, and along with other things that go on in the city of Chicago and across the country. Because I've seen you stop, drop, and roll in just about any state. You're not just stuck in Illinois, but going down with this Thornton Township shutdown. You just had a live last night and even earlier today where you are on this situation. Why don't you let us into your perspective on what's going on with this shutdown?
So I think that with the shutdown is, in my opinion, just it is a stunt, a political stunt, if you will, by a desperate woman that is losing the grips of power and sort of trying to figure out how to earn the sympathy and the, I guess, ignorant concern of people who may not be aware of what's going on in the township.
Yeah. Do you think that she is so? Because Lorenzo and I, we were talking about how the addiction to the power itself, low key, is like it can be like the Lord of the Rings. Give me the ring, So, do you think that her addiction to power is what's spawning her attitude, even, or her arrogance?
I think that it is her addiction to being seen. I don't even. I think she knows that the power is basically fleeting. The writing is on the wall. I'm not a clinical professional, but this is something that looks like classic narcissism. And yes, she is literally good press, bad press. She say any press is okay. She's just doing what she got to do to stay yeah, see.
Let me ask this question, Mr. Brown. Now, I like I said, I just moved to this area 2 years ago, so I'm still learning, and developing relationships, here in the Chicagoland area. When I first drove through that whole Dalton, Markham, and area, the first thing I noticed was the shutdown of all the commercial businesses that are boarded up, the homes that are all boarded up. And I remember having a conversation with LaDonna, asking her, what part of town I was in, what's going on in this area, and we had a conversation about this. I find it odd that someone that's new to the area can just randomly drive through an area and automatically know something is wrong. So I'm just kind of curious as to how long this has been going on and what type of actions, if any actions, are the people in that community are able to have they been taking action, or what type of action can they or should they have been taken?
So I basically got into this fight maybe within the last 8, 9 months,
Mm-hmm.
give or take. And but this has been going on. If you've seen many people talking about, they've been fighting this administration, knowing that it was going in the wrong direction since day one of her being elected or appointed to either position. So you're talking about 3, almost 4 years now, a whole new election cycle coming up, that people have been fighting this and saying that they're dealing with the kind of man that now the rest of America is catching on to.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And
Go ahead.
and for me, this is so bizarre, unlike anything I've ever seen. Now, I'm 38 years old. I've been an advocate for about 16, 17 years. I'm almost to my 20-year mark, full retirement, no pension still. But I never seen this type of situation in any government, in any municipality. And I've gone from a local Chicago advocate to a national advocate. We definitely got something that's amazing on our hands.
Do you think there's a way for her to come back from this? Or are people just too pissed off to just even give her a second look?
So coming back from this, I don't think that we're definitely not with the residents who are fighting this. However, Tiffany Henyard had a moment. She had a moment where everybody was kind of unsure of how to handle what she was going through when she lost the nomination at the Democratic caucus. That was her moment. Well, she responded with classic dysfunctional, narcissistic Tiffany, and that moment's gone. So if there was a time where I thought she would have been able to gain, she definitely have proven she got a lot of growing to do. So I'll never say never, because I've come back from some crazy things. But for her, as of now, no, it's over with.
Wow. That's kind of scary, because how close have you lived to her township at all, if at all? Because you were in the city. I remember you were in the city of Chicago.
Yeah, I actually have both suburban and city life memories. Growing up, we were back and forth. I got that black mama that wanted us to not be subjected to Chicago, but we was from Chicago. So you go back and forth, you change your dress, go to school out here, you go hang out at that. I've seen both lives. So that's why I'm a little crazy. Like I'm suburban with a lot of city. So I've lived in Thornton Township. I've lived in South Harlem before. I went to school in Harvey before. Like, I have family and people in Calumet City and in Dalton. I've been all through that.
What school in Harvey did you go to?
Thornton.
What year did you come out?
2005 is when I got kicked out.
Okay. So you came out for real. You came out for real. I graduated from Thornton. That's where I graduated.
Wow.
Wildcats. Yeah, go Wildcats. I went to Thornwood my first 2.5 years, and then I transferred to Thornton for personal reasons. My son is older now, but yeah, he was the reason.
Sorry that happened to you.
No.
Thornton was a mess back then.
Man. Oh, you sorry. I went to Thornton. Yeah, well, you're right. It was culture shock, because I literally went from middle class students that I was, that were part of the student body, to Hollywood High. It was totally different. Yeah. I kept to myself, and I didn't know how to submerge myself in the community or the culture. It was quite a difference, but they did see me through and have the programs ready. But it seemed
Quick
like
question I
eventually,
want to
go
know,
ahead.
because this is
Yeah.
going to help me understand you real quick. There
Yes.
were two options when you had the lunch voucher. Did you drink the orange drink or the red?
Oh man, back then, probably the red one.
Oh, we
What?
wouldn't have got along.
Why?
You get them. Go ahead.
First of all, the red one mimicked the red Kool-Aid that I made at the house. So you go with what's familiar. You know what I'm saying? Goodness. Well, you all can call in live at 312-357-5141 if you want to talk to Jedidiah Brown. And we're going to hash out this Tiffany Henyard situation. Everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon of having these discussions about how terrible of a mayor she is. And at first, I was really not interested in hearing any of that. But then I couldn't escape it. You know, she was put on the forefront probably more than Diddy just because she's in my city. Well, close to my city. It's hard to believe that someone would be so rogue and have an opportunity to treat senior citizens with respect, and I haven't seen that. To treat the constituents with respect, and I haven't seen that. Someone even called me and said, there is a documentary that's available that humanizes Tiffany Henyard, Mayor Tiffany Henyard. And I went to watch it and it did the opposite. So where is this? And did I click on the wrong one? Is there a video or a documentary that shows the human side of her? Because there's pain there. And I'm not trying, I've been told I try to play it safe, and I don't want to play it safe where it doesn't help us. But she's a single mother, right? And she's not married. She has a boyfriend, but now he's in trouble. So what do you think is really going on here, Jedediah?
And that's the loaded question. Again, I'm not a clinical professional, but what we have witnessed is a breakdown of the village somewhere, and a woman that has not been surrounded by wise counsel that has her best interest, or that have been handled properly by the people I think that she's trusted herself with or been entrusted with. And then I feel like the things that I've learned about her personal life that I haven't even touched about or talked about demonstrate somebody who was on a path for survival, but always aspired to be something more and got it and didn't transition for the role. So I don't know her personal story, but humanizing Tiffany is hard because even when she has the moments to demonstrate her heartbeat, she's either blaming other people for what's going on, or she is demonstrating the dysfunction that comes from within. Like today, that Thornton special meeting was hard to stomach
Watch. Yeah.
because of her conduct at the helm.
I and Lorenzo, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about, like, even with our younger generation, we have put in these zero tolerance anti-bullying policies in these schools because we want our children to have a safe opportunity or feel safe in the school system in their town. We have these hate crimes that are federal offenses, but why is it that politicians are allowed to display bullying? It's like it's the thing to do. Let's smear, let's bully, let's kick, stomp, and fight no matter what. Because you said that maybe, why would she be this way? But I was thinking about her mentor. She was mentored by Frank Zuccarelli, which did not have these antics. She was also mentored by Dorothy Brown, the former Cook County clerk of Circuit Court. Her guidance has been influential, but where did this attitude come from? I'm at a loss.
One of the longest serving African American female county clerks we've had, who actually endorsed me on her way out the door when I ran for alderman. She's one of the first people I called when I got involved with what's going on in Dalton. She said, "Don't call me. I have nothing to do with it." She doesn't listen. That
Wow.
was it. That was the whole conversation. So I don't know if mentor is the right way to describe these people, because everybody who interacts with Tiffany has the same testimony. She doesn't listen. I don't think she's yielded to mentoring anywhere, and that's part of the problem.
So Jedediah, let me ask this question for. I guess this will probably be for you and LaDonna. So apparently she got it, voted in. What was it? Would you say inspired people or got her into the position that she was in? What was it that she said, or what is it that you think what type of actions did she take that made you think made the people say, you know what, this is our candidate, this is the person that's going to do what needs to be done for the area, or did they just vote off of I don't know, looks and personality?
Yeah, because she's sharp every day.
Oh yeah, she's sharp.
Well, first of all, they're telling me I'm echoing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to stop that.
Let's see if I can help. Keep going. Let's see. One moment. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
Ask him about now.
Am I still? I don't know if you talking to me?
Yeah. You said someone's telling you that you're echoing.
Yeah, they were telling me that in your chat, saying I was echoing.
Okay. Ask him if you're still echoing, please.
So
I think we stopped it.
So you said, how did they get into this role again?
How did she? How would, in your opinion, how do you think she made it into the seat? I mean, what was it about her during her time of running for mayor of Dalton? What was it about her, do you believe or suspect, won the people over?
Her energy. Mm-hmm. Tiffany Henyard has an amazing work ethic, and she has this blind optimism. She has this excitement about her, and she definitely has this, hey, I'll do this for you, I'll look out for you, I got your back, and I'll do this, that, and the third for you when she is presenting herself. And people needed hope, even in Dalton. Then they were dealing with tremendous deficit, and Frank Zuccarelli transitioning abruptly. They were looking for a star, somebody who embodied the excitement that they needed for the Southland, because that was a tremendous blow. Their king was down. And Tiffany Henyard presented that not only to the people of her village, but to the powers that be. She was a young black female. It was historical in its sense. She had the excitement, the zeal, and they made deals that had got her appointed to the township. And she created the narrative that got her elected as a mayor. And of course, nobody would know how a person would truly act until they're in the seat. Right. And now you see what they got.
Yeah. What, have you ever interacted with her?
Hell no. Yeah, I've interacted with her several times in the art, never personally, which is a part of the problem and how we got here. Because when I first came out, that was my attempt. I wanted to speak to the leaders of the administration, but they kind of was like, "Who you, little dude? Ain't got no time for that." Well, they got time now.
Plenty of time.
I helped them fight.
So I saw that there were some allegations against Mr. Andrew Holmes that you demanded answers for. This was obviously 5 months ago, and those charges have since been dropped. But when you say you're going to answer me, I've seen that from your rhetoric quite often. And do you feel that when you demand an answer, that people can look you in the eye and say, you know what, let me go ahead and make this my moment to redeem myself?
LaDonna, believe it or not, that is my rhetoric. And the ones that y'all don't see me fighting for on the internet and in the news, are the ones who look at me and give that answer. Mm-hmm. I don't come for sensationalism or playing games. I try to be fair and do this basically because I believe it's what God gave me to do. And when I come now, I come with my receipts. And so I feel like only the foolish who would have known, who've seen that I've done this for 2 decades almost, would see me there or say that to me and choose to fight me instead of engaging. And unfortunately, once again, that's what this administration did. And I really, in my heart, believe that they wish that they would have responded to me when I first came.
That was gonna be my next question.
Oh, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Did you get the answer? Did
Right.
they answer you? Yeah.
Yeah. So you had a recent video where you mentioned not understanding her, and what qualities or actions do you think make her a polarizing yet influential figure in Dalton politics? Tell me, what was the process in wondering or even asking that out loud? Because you had to be thinking, wait a minute, what are people thinking?
Wait. Can you help me with that again?
Okay, so in your recent video about Tiffany Henyard, because you posted yesterday, and we'll get to that one as well, and then you posted earlier this morning. But there's been ongoing videos that you've posted referring to her antics, and I'm asking, like, what qualities or actions do you think make her a polarizing yet influential figure? Because that is how you've posed it. You weren't should I say, directly dumping on her. You were more so saying that yes, she was still an influential figure in Dalton politics.
Tiffany Henyard.
Yes.
I had an accident, and I probably was off my medication.
Oh Jesus.
But at the same time, I mean, the only thing that will make her popular, polarizing, and influential at this point is that she still holds those seats, and everything Tiffany does is going to garner the attention. And the jury of public opinion is out, and you hear a lot of people who may be saying one way, but you also have people who would see it the other way. So she's influential in that sense, but outside of that, nothing.
Man, that's cold blooded. You guys, man, we're talking to Jedidiah Brown, an activist and former candidate for alderman, and just basically, you said accident. Man, how are you feeling? Has anybody asked you that, or are they just asking questions and acting like they don't see that neck brace?
People really, they don't care. They want the tea and they want the drama, and I got to keep working. So for me, I just feel like, Lord, I know you told me I'll be, you're going to take care of my every need according to my riches and glory, but can we talk about the process next time? Because this ain't the route I wanted to go. But, I deal with it. And, I've also always wanted to be a little taller. I feel like my neck happens to sit like this.
If you stretch it up a little bit, you got a couple of.
I have a long neck when it's
Have you measured yourself? You got a couple of inches now?
I'm gonna do that. And you know what? And this is adjustable. So every day, I'm just kind of like pushing
squeezing
it up.
tired. Yeah.
God got a way of giving you what you ask for. Don't. You can't be picky. But I'm fine. Outside of aches and pains, I'm dealing with it. And then the insurance processes is annoying. But hey, I believe God got a blessing with my name on it.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad that you're okay. We were in a car accident, October 26th, and grace of God, so I get it, but I'm glad that you're okay. And I know that sometimes when you're doing what you do for the community, nobody asks you if you're okay. Yeah. Well, you've been a strong advocate for the community and community engagement. And what do you believe is the biggest barrier with preventing residents from participating in local politics?
The biggest barrier is ignorance. And I don't even know how to really say that or explain it, except for to say that people have to want better for themselves and pay attention to everything that affects them. And not enough people pay attention to politics because it's the invisible force that they don't want to do the extra work to understand and get involved in and participate in. If there were more people in governments across America involved in what affects them. A lot of the issues that they're facing in their everyday quality of life simply won't be there. The one thing that Tiffany thrived on in her leading was that the trustees were voting in generalities. Nobody was questioning specifics. This blew up when people started saying, well, what's in the general fund? What's in the expense accounts? Who are the vendors? And realize that they're paying for this and making their voices heard. That is essentially what made this what it is. Because there is dysfunction in other governments, but it's the residents, the few, and what they were saying, and how she was responding. And that should be in every American city, at every city meeting. You're talking about a place of 20,000 residents in one of her governments, and another is 150,000. But you'll be hard pressed if you got 50 people in the room simply checking out how decisions are being made that governs their quality of life every single day. Ignorant.
I agree with that. I think to add to that, I think a lot of residents don't realize how much voting on the local level affects them, in the immediate. Because it wasn't later. Man, I learned that lesson late of how important it is or was voting on the local level. If you look at the percentage of people that look like us that vote on the local level, see, most people think voting only happens when the presidency come around, and you have a large population of people that don't even vote on the local level. But I think educating especially young people on why it's important. Even if you don't vote for the presidency, you have to vote. At least educate people on how to vote or why they should vote on the local level and how it affects them if they do or if they don't.
And I think we have to change our mindset about it. Politicians are not our bosses. They're the people who represent us. They're the workers. Taxation without representation is what we want to avoid. You pay taxes, and the person gets a job to make sure that your agenda that you want for your life is pushed. And it's a republic. That means that they're going to go with the majority of their constituency and what they want for their life. And their job is to literally go to the higher governments to get the resources to every day produce what you all demand. So if people look at it as I'm just giving somebody a job, they miss it. But when they realize that you're the boss and you're hiring somebody, then as a boss, you're going to make sure they're doing the job that you have hired them to do. So we got to stop looking at it as voting. And this was very powerful for me as a young man. I didn't get a paycheck in advocacy. But when I was literally in my early 20s, in America's third largest city, when city services were inefficient, they always made sure that mine were taken care of. And I remember going to a meeting, and I said, I'm hearing everybody complaining about their garbage. They said, and I said, well, my garbage is always picked up. The alderman, $100,000 a year, voting for 50,000 residents in the city, speaking to the third most powerful CEO in the country as it relates to a city, is saying to me, there ain't no way in the world we're not going to let your garbage not be picked up, because don't nobody want you in our office causing no problems. Going into the police department, but normally we can't answer these questions. But Jedediah, we know who you are. We don't even want to deal with that. This person is in jail. This is what they did. We'll get them processed and get them out of here immediately. You'll give us a chance. Things like that I learned. Civic education is important, but America doesn't educate properly because civic engagement is dangerous to capitalist systems that are designed. I'm sorry, y'all, maybe I'm being worried, but designed to keep our foots on the neck. If I submit to you this, if Dalton was engaged as they should have been, Tiffany Henyard probably would have never wanted to be made in the first place.
Oh, now that's a point right there, and that's something to think about.
And I agree with you when you say that our systems doesn't educate us properly. But one of our mistakes too, I believe, is like we rely on them to educate us. I think we have to start doing it ourselves. But I want to ask you this question here. Like moving forward, because this is another thing that worries me when you have incidents like what's going on with what's going on with Miss Tiffany Henyard is when we try to talk to our young people about voting or the importance of voting, and they see incidents like this and what's going on with this situation in Dalton. When you talk to young people and ask them why they don't vote or why they don't participate, and they use examples like with what's going on now on why they don't do X, Y, and Z, what can we do to use what's going on with Dalton as a teaching lesson to young people?
To young people,
Mm-hmm.
I think that one of the reasons why I value voting so much, or I did early on, was because I understood the fight for it that came from my grandparents. Young people probably won't automatically grasp it because you got to make it personal, and that's the challenge that I have. I don't know how to do necessarily, but I think that we got to get voting to become important in the household. Period.
Yeah.
I think that going after young people is cool, but we need to go after culture and household. It needs to become something that's a standard for Black people. We vote. We make bosses. We hold them accountable, and they deliver. When we get to that level of thinking, young people gonna be like, hell, yeah. I mean, sorry. They're gonna be like, yeah, I cuss on my you must. Can I cuss on
You can
y'all?
cuss on mine too.
Okay,
This is a
great. It's
podcast.
hell yeah, hell yeah. I'm gonna vote too because we want a basketball court in our community with nice stats on it. So I'm going to vote. Who's gonna give us that? When they get how it'll personally affect them, yeah, I want programs in my community. We'll go up there and tell them y'all demand programs, and let's see who's gonna give you the you know what I'm saying? We gotta organize as a unit, and we're not doing that. And I think that this is what I tell people all the time. The second time I became wealthy in my life was when Governor J.B. Pritzker was running for public office. The gangs, the streets know now that there's money in politics. The people who paying attention know that there's money in politics. Let y'all young people know politics can change the trajectory of not just, it can change the trajectory of anybody's life. You be involved and know how to work.
I totally agree with you. And I think you said something very important. And I guess I would describe it in the sense of redirecting their fight. Because, our young people, for some reason, they like to fight. But if we can redirect that fight and show them how to fight in the sense of how it's going to, help them in the communities that they live in, is going to make an impact. I think that's a very important tool if we can put that together.
Heck yeah. I saw something today that was very powerful, and I think a lot of people might have missed it. When a Tiffany Henyard opposer speaks, she doesn't pay attention to them. She looks down. She talks
looks
to
down
others.
all the time, doesn't she? Every time anybody speaks.
Well, no, because if you look at today, when a supporter of hers comes, she looks directly at them, and she gives them head nods. She's very supportive of what they're saying. But there was one moment in the meeting today that was so powerful for me, because there was a woman that got up and said, I believe in you. I gave you a chance. I voted for you. And you can tell Tiffany knew exactly who she was. And she said, you disappointed me. And there was this look up and this look down, and this look up and this look down, and this look in her eyes and the face. And I said, that's it right there. That's the powerful resident. What's crazy about this is that I've investigated every angle of this fight for Dalton. And some of the people who fight didn't even vote. And no election. So it's like, okay, I'm glad you're fighting, but you didn't even, you're not even a voter. And some of them call me an outsider and they have no voting record whatsoever. It's the funniest thing to me. But when when there are people who have made the simple sacrifice of literally one day in 4 years standing in line to vote, and they understand the power of it, and they rock with the candidate, they have a different effect. And I think that people need to understand that you are powerful when you are a part of the process and you are just a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal shooting out your mouth in the wind when you're not. And that message needs to trickle down from the older to the younger, and they need to understand how it correlates to how we even got this right from our past to our present, and why it's important for us to preserve it, because we're literally seeing history try to repeat itself because we're allowing our ignorance to lead us and not our goals, dreams, aspirations, and our culture.
What advice do you give young activists who want to make a real difference in their communities? Because there's a lot of work to be done. I'll never forget and I'm gonna let you answer. I'll never forget how at one point we would say, well, we don't have any leaders. How is it that we don't have any leaders when there's so many of us in this country? So when you have young people that say, well, my vote doesn't count and it doesn't make a difference anyway, it's like we're playing telephone. We say something, somebody repeats it, it's collateral information, and then it changes the culture for what our ancestors fought for. So what advice do you give young activists who want to make a real difference in their communities?
If I told you anything, I'd be lying. I have not mentored anybody in advocacy because right now everybody beef and everybody, and yeah, I don't have any advice.
You know, you know, me and LaDonna had this conversation, and like I said, you know, with me being new and still learning the culture of Chicago, I mean, you have like your Ida B. Wells and your Fred Hamptons. You I think Chicago has such a rich culture of activism, and I just can't help but have this feeling that somewhere one of these influential leaders didn't pass the baton on. And I guess the question is, you being who you are, you know, boots on the ground, pounding the pavement, who are you passing the baton on? Or do you feel like, I know you probably ain't ready to pass the baton on yet, but are you preparing to pass the baton on to somebody? So that's my big question. With not only just you, but even, you know, older adults like myself, who are we passing the batons on when our time is up?
Y'all kind of triggered me in this line of question, and I appreciate it. My heart instantly grew immediately sad because um,
you know,
activism. If I just say this, activism, the active word in that is activate. Activist is supposed to activate. We are not activated by the baton being passed. We are activated by pain or agenda. It's hard to pass the baton because it's not defined. And it's hard to pass the baton because we somewhere along the line, from the slave ship to the voting booth, forgot about the importance of passing on and leaving behind. And that's just my honest opinion. Everybody's fighting for relevance and money and fame and to get it themselves out the mud. We gotta figure out how to get back to the basics and change our language. Because what baton are we passing? If I pass something today, sir, it would be the pain of this world. And I wouldn't want to give that to nobody.
But somebody's got to take it on.
And 9 times out of 10, somebody will always rise. They will be activated by their own individual pain. That's the problem.
Now, I can't help, I don't want to act like I don't see this. I see that someone has come on and it says Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Is that someone that calls themselves Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard?
Okay, let me just. I'm gonna say this. We really that I don't we like that too.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, you free to go. Let me go ahead and take that down.
Make you wanna I remember when I first saw that on my screen. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, it's okay. But again, you're watching Relationshipping on the LaDonna Raeh Show, and today we have Jedidiah Brown, who has been showing and proving his activism throughout the years here in Chicago and across the country. I say across the country because I'll never forget when those two boys, what was it, three, they got pulled over by the police in Georgia. You on your way? I think you on your way to Georgia, and they got pulled over. You on the side of the road with your phone, and I'm like, he gonna get them killed. But you you were trying to get them, like, look, it's somebody out here with a phone. I was like, what is he doing? I went and got my popcorn. What is he doing? But at that time we had, and that was before the George Floyd and situation. But it was it's necessary ongoing. There's always something going on in our communities where we are being targeted. But back to something that we mentioned earlier about how the young people and advice and things of that nature, even though you may not have advice vocally or verbally on this particular question feed, the advice you have shows in your actions. So those that want to rise to the occasion when it's their time to do activism in the community and for the well-being of what needs to happen, you're leading by example. Okay? So it's prevalent in our community that we die out. You know what I mean? We die out, but we die out. We give up because it's such a big fight. And there's a certain way to move when the society is set up for you to fail and you just give up. But never give up. Never give up, because even though the society is set up for you to fail, you prevail. You recognize the BS. I'm not going to cuss on my live, but you can. You recognize the BS and you address it and you move around it and you make it work for your community. You make it work for your cause. But you said was it civic education definitely needs to be reintroduced into our schools. And if it's not in the schools, don't just give up and say, oh, well, introduce it into the churches, because church has youth classrooms as well. Charter schools have their own structure of teaching under the CPS umbrella, but we can still do this for real. Like we can still teach civic education to our young people and some people who are older. Heck, I think there are times when I get caught up in, I know, more federal than local. And where did that come from? So you have to be able to learn it and teach it, and to teach is to learn. So how about we implement these needed services and programs into the platforms that we have for real?
Yeah, because even Tiffany Henyard, she likens herself unto Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. I'm your Martin Day Harriet Tugman, or whatever she said. But it's
She
like,
said it wrong, Jedediah.
huh?
She said it wrong.
I think she said Tugman or something like that. Yeah, she said it wrong. I ain't
She
gonna
didn't
do that.
even see the
I don't know.
movie.
She got a list for something in fairness. She be saying some weird stuff. But this is the thing. When Tiffany Henyard says that to me, it reminds me of when I first left Chicago. My first place was to Atlanta. And I would see Martin Luther King flyers for parties and twerkathons and things like that. Y'all, MLK weekend, it's a twerk time. They have MLK with a blunt in his hand. Every time she says it, it reminds me of those plugins. It's like we gotta get our history and our civic education in the home, because people don't. It's like, do you not realize how insulting to your own culture that is to liken this fight to their fight? You ain't even have to. You ain't even have to try that. Let alone, like I said, you sound like a party plug. It's like, wait, what? You Harriet Tubman? Do you know what Harriet Tubman did?
Wait, somebody just put in the chat, hair hat Tubman. Don't do her like that. Oh my goodness. Don't do her like that. But I've seen her disrespect senior citizens. That's where I kind of give up on people. Because the older people have paved the way for us and they've paid their dues. And to disrespect an elder and several of them.
And that right there kills your influence. Whenever you insult, anyone for that matter, you kill your influence after that.
Yeah, I done killed mine a lot of times. I be cussing old folks out too. Some of these old folks be a little crazy. However,
you do apologize though, right?
Not all the time. I cuss out elders, women, and children. I be getting a lot of criticism online, so I kind of can't talk about her with that. However, what I will say is, I think that the reason for why it's done and how it's done is what I will say will make a difference. I'm gonna come back at you if you come at me. Civic Henyard literally just handles people with a very heavy hand, and that's what I think is the problem, just in general.
And it's not working for us. Like, is that working for you? When do you scale back? When it's not working for you, you have to do something that works.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I had to laugh at myself like that. Y'all should saw y'all face when I said, I cussed out a couple of seniors.
I know. I wasn't expecting that. But
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately,
so, yeah. I'm of this generation. Y'all got to pray for it.
It was that pause before you said it, though.
He had a beat.
It was that little beat.
Y'all gotta imagine, like, I'm fighting senior citizens and don't. I done had to cuss a couple of them out. Now, I ain't gonna lie.
There's only one time that I wanted to cuss out a senior citizen, and that's when she was dating my father. Okay, that's the one time. All I thought about was I don't want to go to jail for elderly abuse, and that's what stopped me from clearly cussing her clean out.
Is that somebody mentioning the FBI, CIA, the COINTELPRO probes that they use to dismantle
this message right here? Remember, the government, the FBI, the CIA had policy on how to break black government and black leaders. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's the COINTELPRO tactic that they use. Yeah, we're familiar with that.
But I don't think she needed the COINTELPRO to dismantle her administration. She's doing it on her own.
Yeah, she did it on her own.
Yeah, but, and I can even say that I don't know if I'm going to be eloquent enough to tie it in, but when a thief is caught, they must return to you sevenfold what they've stolen. And we now have this information about these operations, and we have not yet gotten engaged civically in the route and in the way to getting our culture and ourselves back to where we need to be. I would suggest that Tiffany Henyard is the result of, like I said, she's the result of a fractured village, and that village probably was fractured by an agenda of the government. Generations before her. I can see that.
I failed to look at if her mother and father are still alive. Do you know the answer to that?
Yes.
They are still alive?
They got a police detail in front of their house 24/7, but the gun sales, sex, prostitution, and sex trafficking going on, they don't have enough police officers to deal with that. Yeah, they still alive.
Okay. And I wonder what their thoughts are on the actions of their daughter. I mean, they may have celebrated her getting sworn in and becoming the mayor of Dalton, but this narrative, this whole reputation it can't be good.
Well, I think that if I'm not mistaken, allegedly they got a $200-something thousand driveway made. They probably, ain't saying too much. Probably got the money hidden under the driveway.
Okay.
Something under the driveway. Ain't no damn 200. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we can't. I don't know. Something about that driveway. I keep thinking about the driveway. Why is there police detail in front? I think it's the driveway. The money is in the driveway.
Maybe the driveway is heated.
Censored and everything. That sounds like taxpayer paid.
Maybe it's heated. The heated driveway.
Girl, you better say allegedly for Tiffany to come out.
We're going to start a whole new headline. Tiffany Henyard's parents get the heated driveway. I just can't say that on VON, okay? I can say it on my podcast. I just can't say it on WVON. But with that being said, the parents are one thing, but she's got this boyfriend. I forgot his name. I had it earlier. but he seems to be in a toxic level or layer as well. Do you think that he's in her ear? I know that you're not. You said you're not qualified as a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but in the streets, what are the streets saying? Is her boyfriend in her ear?
He has definitely had a lot of influence over her. The Nino Brown outfit, it was part of his idea. There are a lot of things that she did at the advice and the behest of him. But when I first came in, people often said to me, Kamal is the real mayor. He's the one running the show. Tiffany Henyard is making the decisions, but it's by him that they listen to the orders on a day-to-day basis. And he had a heavy level of consideration as relates to being an advisor to her. And then she gave him $100,000 a year job just to hang out with her all day, even though it's against the statutes of the township. And if I'm not mistaken, this is what I was literally getting ready to bring up real soon, is that it says in 1-11-2 elements of the code for the village of Thornton Township, not use his or her position to obtain employment for him or herself for immediate family members or close associates. So the member desire employment, he or she must first resign. It is literally in the statutes that govern the township that say her boyfriend should be even making $100,000 a year. Well, he told her he wanted a job, and she gave him a high-paying job that he doesn't do well from what we see, and it's against the statutes and the code. So when I listen to her today say, we're going to do this right, I was now going to come back and say, well, why? You're doing everything else wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is why they don't want to talk to me, because I'll be ready.
And you know something, I'm telling you, I really appreciate you doing this late night. I feel like we're doing late night with LaDonna and Lorenzo. Because earlier today, I just want to thank you and apologize that we had that slot that got bumped this morning on WVON. So if you told anybody, I don't want them to say, you weren't going to be, No, we had a jam-packed Friday, and it just got crazy. And I said, you know what? I am snatching him tonight. Actually, this afternoon was hopeful for it. But we had Tommy Davidson came in. It just, things went crazy. So tonight, I'm so glad that you're giving us time on this podcast. And for those of you that want to listen in next week sometime, we're going to tell Jedediah the day it's going to air. We're going to have some clips from some highlights from tonight to play on WVON Talk Radio in Chicago. Beautiful. Yeah. So we got some comments, and Jedediah, I don't know, you got them riled up, but I'm going to go ahead and show this one. There you go. Okay. There you go. And I don't know who this is, but I haven't seen ERS in a minute. I'm used to seeing AS at the end of that word.
Deep down, didn't they?
Yeah, they went deep. They went back in the South days. Okay, so I don't know. There's more. Yeah, there's more. There's more of a comment there. So Benjamin, you got something to say.
This the beautiful thing about that though, and like this is what I was talking about, earlier, LaDonna.
Yeah.
When you are doing good things, the people that hate you and your enemies are gonna follow you. They, just so they can comment or spew their negativity into the comments, they will subscribe to your channel and everything just so and they will get their friends, their followers to subscribe to you just so they can try to dismantle what you're saying.
Yeah. And
so I welcome them.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. So look, we've got some opinions here. Jedediah, have you ever heard a comment like this? It says, Black people are not the first humans. The world was not made in 7 days. The universe is not 13.8 billion years old. The global elites are not the powerhouses of the world or any other. I don't see what anything is, though. This is what is not. This is a what is not comment. Your thoughts. Everything is what is not. What is?
So I think that, typically with people like that, I don't really give them too much attention because I'm pretty sure that when they pee, it runs down their balls. They probably do cold. They probably ain't got all their mind right. They probably really high. Yeah. Probably in some kind of a place that smells really bad with a bunch of animals not really well kept.
With internet, though?
Yeah, they got the internet. They probably got them a government phone and the internet connection, and they
Okay.
just angry or mad. Maybe they might just be, they're big people, and I ain't trying to body shame, but they might be
Yeah.
just really big as hell, and just angry at the world, and no type of rhythm. Maybe they food ain't seasoned right. They
Yeah.
don't got no visitors. Like it's given
No
that.
salt and pepper, no Lowry's.
Yes, and literally they saying there's no God because they not used to having visitors because typically nobody cares for them. And so they just come on the internet and they say these obscene things, and you just gotta keep them in their place. They're
Yeah.
so irrelevant. That's why they use fake pages. And at the end of the day, they're literally our bitches. We have the
Yeah.
platforms. People are here to see us. And we just gotta keep pushing.
Keep it pushing.
it
All right. Well,
pushing.
keep up. Speaking of keeping it pushing, brilliant disguise says yes. Haters with too much time on their hands can be childish. Yes, this is true. And speaking of childish, didn't I hear someone say that Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, is acting as a child would? I've heard that so many times.
Y'all know y'all can't play the last part on WB on air, right?
Oh no, this will be edited, honey. Oh, I'm
Okay.
editing this myself.
So wait, what was your question again?
Someone says that yes, haters with too much time on their hands can be childish. And I said, speaking of childish, it has been said many, many times that dealing with Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, is like dealing with a child.
I just feel like, for me, I wouldn't necessarily call her childish. I just would call her, I don't know how to explain it because, again, I've never seen nothing like this. I don't know how to describe Tiffany, but childish is, I think, for lack of better terminology. This is not a child. This woman is fully aware of what she's doing. And she has cemented, and this is who she is and what she's going to be. And she surrounds herself with a certain element that she identifies with. That's not childish. That's calculated, articulate. That's grown. I just don't know what kind of grown.
But you mentioned narcissist earlier, and I would align because we're used to calling men narcissists.
I think that's one of the traits, but I don't think that's the full story. Like it's something deeper there. And I pray to God that whichever facility she ends up in, the penal system she ends up in, that they have some kind of psychology to help her out.
Psychiatric ward just for Tiffany.
Yeah, she gonna need it.
Yeah, they're working on their
them weeds
certifications right
can't
now.
get
Yeah. Well, we have yet another leader that has come into our community, and they look like us, but they're not necessarily for us. That's heartbreaking because we ultimately, Lorenzo and I have been talking about how we assume that because you look like me, that you are for me, but that is not always the case. You can ultimately be for thyself.
I think we have to step away from identity politics, and we have to realize that we mess ourselves up expecting everybody to be like us and to care about us. So when we do that, basically we're identifying with them. I'm black, they're black. I'm a woman, they're a woman. I'm a man, they're a man. And we feel like that's me. And it stops us from doing our due diligence and asking the right questions or holding our feet to the fire. We be so scared or so desperate that we just take what is perceived without doing our own research, investigation, or engagement. And that's why I don't vote like that anymore. I don't care that you're black. Do you have a plan? Does your agenda speak to me? What is your history? And what are you, even if it's bad, how are you responding now? Because that's going to tell me what I need to know when I'm voting, as I'm voting.
What would you like to see happen? I know you mentioned that she needs to be voted out, basically. But what would you like to see happen, let's say, in the next 30 days or so?
Man, well, we went back down to Las Vegas with Fania. Fania has been amazing in fighting and advocating for herself as a survivor of sexual assault as she alleges. And she has demonstrated all of the faculties of a woman that not only deserve justice, but is committed to getting it. In the next 30 days, I pray that her going back to Las Vegas will result in the announcement of a new investigation being opened, properly conducted, and them making an arrest as such that a jury or judge could make the decision and not officers who may have been influenced by the powers that be. And within that, I pray that everybody that have expressed an injustice in this situation will get an answer and some level of resolve before this administration is voted out of power and the arrests are made.
Wow. And it's unfortunate because we have only so many activists to go around, and when something like this happens, it just raises an eyebrow from the community. But again, I just from a legal standpoint, we have to say that those charges were dropped. They were dropped, but you're saying that there might be some new developments.
Yeah, we have like I said, for Neil, there was some very clear difficulties in things, but there was also one of the things about investigations, chain of custody matters, and so this case, the chain of custody, you see clear attempts at covering this up and suppressing it, but now Neil's going back to Las Vegas to take the situation directly to the investigator.
Yeah.
And so, again, I pray that with a new report, there'll be a new investigation. Because one of the things that you would know is that a new report is not often accepted. Well, this woman went down there and got a new report, different angle, new report. So that means that there is an investigation that is now being conducted. Fingers crossed. I see that.
Wow. Well, you told him, answer me now. If you all didn't see the documentary that was conducted by NBC5 right here on, well, not right here, but I was going to say right here in Chicago, but no, that sucker went worldwide, okay? It was amazing to see that, those mouths that needed to speak up were closed, but you stood in the line of fire, I should say. And didn't you end up in handcuffs?
Girl, I ended up in jail.
Jail.
Handcuffs would have been nice. So handcuffs come off, but I was in jail.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Tell me about how you went there to stand up for. Hey, we just gonna talk about it. I said we ain't gonna act like right. You were standing there for the rights of the people, and your ass ends up locked up. So go ahead and tell us what that was like. How did you feel?
You be talking mad shit until you get to that cell phone. You be like, damn, I really got to sit in here for like 8 hours. So it was, but this was unique in the sense that, it was definitely an overact. I went and confronted Andrew Holmes. He called me. I was on my way to my seat. And he told me to come in. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm coming. But I also knew what I was doing. I was intentionally trying to provoke response. But I was not necessarily thinking that I was going to get back in. So I was like, okay, cool. I get to smack him now. So I'm actually walking up to him thinking he wants to say something, do something. I'm with it. But as I go up there, I'm now knocked by police officers and ultimately arrested with the intent to try to charge me with aggravated assault, which obviously the state's attorney office denied, which, praise the Lord. But it landed me in jail overnight. I was in there eating from the best restaurant in Dalton. I had a toothbrush to brush my teeth. They gave covers.
Wait, the best restaurant in Dalton?
Huh?
You were eating from the best restaurant in Dalton?
Yes. Everybody. Huh?
What's the name of it?
Oh, I don't remember. I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't that great.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. It wasn't that barbecue joint on 147.
Yeah. I now watch this to be dragged on. He said the restaurants ain't good and did. So, I was from the best restaurants in Dalton, and I had police officers checking on me every 20 to 25 minutes. And so it was a difference. And everybody came in there and made it clear, look, we don't want no problems. We know you got fouls on everybody. Just, what I'm saying? We doing our job. We you in here. You got here soon. I met the whole staff, I met the command staff, I met the assistants, I met the detectives. Everybody came. Hey, those you okay? You comfortable? And it was a phenomenal experience. I was in there like, well, y'all let me. Can I get a nap? Mr. Brown was like some orange juice, type of thing. And it was fascinating for me to experience that because I was in jail, but I could tell that nobody wanted to be in that predicament. Everybody was uncomfortable, unhappy. The residents was outside making noise. The people are worried about what's going to be the response to the fallout. The internet is going on, and unfortunately, they didn't think it's true. You made the significant activism now bigger, and they knew that. To the point where they walked me all the way outside, and I got a handshake, white shirt.
But you said that you were in overnight, so nobody has time to get signs printed that said "Free Jedediah," "Free Jedediah."
They didn't need to.
Okay.
They literally did. When I tell y'all, I felt like Mr. Clark gonna lean on me. I'm laying in there, minding my business, and I'm sitting in there. And they come and say, "People are outside," and the phone lines are up. Could you go out there and tell them you okay? And I leaned back. I remember the episode. I ain't telling them a damn thing.
I know that's right. Saying nothing.
I ain't telling them nothing. And so it was, they didn't need a sign. Their presence, the mere fact of everything it was literally the most amazing thing that I've ever experienced with dealing with. No, it's the second. Because the whole police department in Chicago was shut down one time when I was arrested. And there wasn't nobody out there but my family because they was like, we don't know what's coming. Yeah. So it's been crazy.
Well, thank you for standing up for what you believe in.
Yes.
What was it cold in the cell? Because we hear all kind of horror stories about how a jail cell is. Now, don't make it sound too comfortable.
He sound like he got the good blanket.
Sound like you had Netflix and was with
a heated blanket. Regular cheese.
Because but I wasn't supposed to be in there. Everybody knew it.
Yeah.
But there is a power again in the people. There's a power in the people.
Did the mayor insist that you be arrested, or was
absolutely was advocated for you to be locked up and charged to the highest power, but they couldn't get it because the state's attorney's office saw through the bull crap and everybody knows what's going on. And so it was a little cold, but not for me because I got the blankets. And there was a particular cell that we always talked about. It was the suicide cell. It's the cell where 2 people went in there and mysteriously died. But I said, please put me in cell 3. I was like, oh, no, we already had that conversation. You ain't going in cell 3. They would not put me in cell 3 whatsoever. They put me in the best cell, as crazy as it sounds. There was in the 3 of them, and they intentionally made sure that I was comfortable because I had to come out of there and tell the people what I experienced, and they no longer wanted that bad PR.
Well, I'm glad they treated you well, and for standing up. Looks like Avion didn't have the best experience like you did, but like you said, it was a specific situation. It was
it ain't for everybody. I guarantee you, and it probably won't be for me next time because I fear I might go back.
Yeah. Well, you be careful. So is there anything that we did not discuss that you would like for the people to know? I told people they can call in and they just want to chat, which is great. But if you want to call in, it's 312-357-5141. However, is there something we left out, didn't get to go over? Because I want to make sure that I'm being fair to you, Jedediah.
No, I feel grateful that you allowed me to come on the platform and just talk as a person. You asked me how I was doing. That already so much better and a lot of stuff that goes on because you sometimes you just fight. You on autopilot. People come on my platform expecting me to give tea. I don't get many options to be human, and I have to do security risk assessments literally every day. It's the most displeasurable position to be in. And what I want the people to understand is that the talking points that started this is no longer there. No longer can we discuss about an insider versus an outsider because now the world is invested in justice being done for all. And not only that, but I want the people around her to hear me Everything she's touched so far has rotted. And I can list the list. Don't put yourself in a position where you cannot recover from because you're trying to support and blindly back taskmasters. And last but not least, my most important message to the communities across America. What's going on in Dalton is definitely going on in your community. You have to show up where you live. Don't just watch this, but pay attention to where you live and be involved, because that could make a difference in your quality of life simply with your presence and your voice being heard and felt. And last but not least, to the great people of Dalton, this is a major news story nationally across the world. It will not become a major movement until y'all unify, organize, and move together. Tiffany's faith is sealed, but your benefit in this is still waiting on your response to this. And I ain't seen it yet for the level that it's set. Don't miss your opportunity. And God bless.
Amen.
Well said. I don't know if can somebody pass the collection plate around, and so we could give it to Jedediah. You know,
no, don't give me no money, girl. They want me to have no money. Can't get no money.
Okay, right. But no, what you said is so true, and thank you for sharing that, because it is ultimately important for us to realize that we still got a big fight ahead of us. Don't just sit back and eat the popcorn like I did when you were on the side of the road. Don't just sit down and eat the popcorn. Get involved. So I second that. Lorenzo?
I third that. But yeah, and we definitely got to keep in mind, I agree with what Jedediah was saying. You got to get involved because, when you're not looking, that's when people going to, do things behind when the smoke screen is up. As soon as you're not looking, so you got to make sure that you keep your eyes open, because when you're dealing with like city funds and things like that, I always say whenever you're dealing with large sums of money or having access to large sums of money, that's when the snakes come out. You got a lot of snakes show up.
Yeah. All right, Jedediah, we're gonna get you out of here. I know it's late, and I want you to rest that neck.
Yes, sir, brother.
Because I wanted to ask you, did the police do that to you? But you said that you.
Yeah, they said the rumor out there is that Tiffany's boyfriend caught me lacking, and I'm saying it was an accident. Finally got me. Okay.
Nah, we ain't gonna Jamie Foxx this, okay? No
The one
Diddy.
thing that I will say is that I'm brave, but I'm proud of you, brother. I'm starting to give mad love to the ball head crew, because we out here.
Yes.
We out here. So tons of love.
Sir, yes,
Don't let it fool you. I said I always got on the hat, but I'm with you, brother.
Yes.
Gotta stick together. You gotta
right.
Dang. Okay, well,
Yes.
maybe someday,
No, girl, you better not.
No, not for me. Hey, I got plenty of hair in my closet, okay? If anything were to go down, I can just look. I just threw this on because we were having. Please, my hair was different earlier. If you go to WVON's Facebook, you'll see that I had some number that was up high, coming down, but then I switched it up for you, Jedediah. I wanted to give you some length.
Not in your closet, but then we all stick together. You bald head too.
No, I ain't bald head. No, I ain't bald head.
I'm just. All right, thank you.
That was good. All right. Well, you're welcome to come back anytime, Jedediah. And you as well. I want you to have a peaceful and wonderful holiday. We give you hugs to you and your family. Make sure you keep us in your prayers, as we will with you as well, for your safety and protection.
Can I say this?
Yes.
Can you believe that I have no Christmas? So my mom invited me to come to Christmas on the 14th because she wants to be in a hot place when Christmas comes. I have no Christmas.
What does that mean? You have no Christmas? What does that mean?
I'll be probably. Look, I'll be sitting in the house. This will be my first. I don't have a Christmas. This will be my first time, pretty much either, or maybe going to my sister's. I'm not sure, but this might be my first time with no Christmas plans. So it's kind of crazy.
What? Why? This is why? Why this year? Do you have children?
No. I got a monkey.
Wait a minute. When you say monkey, my mind went somewhere else. But what do you
No. I have a monkey, like a pet monkey. That's my baby.
do? You really? Is he
Yeah.
right there with you?
You want to see her?
Yeah. What's his name?
Her name is
Her. What's her name?
Kyra.
That she identifies as female.
What? Let
I'm
me go
messing
get
with you. Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for the pet
Man,
monkey.
I hear something in the background too.
Yeah, I thought it was something scratching around. He said he has a pet monkey.
Oh shoot.
We got a turtle. Oh, I hear him.
She was, man.
Oh my God!
My little baby.
What?
Oh my God, that is for real.
Yes, my little monkey.
What is her name?
Kyra.
Kyra. You said that earlier. I just got distracted. What kind of monkey is that?
You Tarzan for real?
Well, oh, hi, baby. Oh, how big will she get?
She's almost there. I don't know if you can see my arm.
Okay.
But she's gonna be about the size of my arm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is super fantastic.
You can legally have one of them.
She's like, why are you messing with me? Okay. Well, y'all have a good one, okay?
All right, brother. Wait, hold on. Oh, LaDonna stepped away.
Not because I was going to get my monkey.
Oh, I thought you was going to get your monkey.
Going to get the turtle.
Kyra, I think they stuck on there.
I was going to get the turtle, but no. Look, I was gonna get the turtle. His name is Gilligan.
Gilligan.
Yeah. He's so but he's sucking his thumb fingers. He's a baby for real. Well, so where'd you get him? What's the story behind this? I never would have thought you would have a monkey.
Well, this is my girl. I had a boy. His name is Cairo, and someone set Cairo up. Okay, she's gonna go. Somebody set Cairo up during this fight. And I lost him, and it was extremely heartbreaking for me because he was taken. And that's a long story in itself. But the people of Dalton and people on the internet, they came together. And Cairo cost me $12,000. But the people of the internet and the people of Dalton, when they learned about what happened, they came together and they bought her.
Oh.
And now
Kyra.
Named by people of the internet, and it is the greatest lesson that I was given in this fight because I wasn't left with a big hole while fighting for someone else. And for that, I'm going to eternally be grateful to the people of God and to the people of the internet who support her.
Wow.
She bad, but
well, she's a baby. She's in a camper. That's like having a kid for real. Goodness. So Cairo, do you know what happened to Cairo? Do you know where he is?
So Cairo was ultimately in a process by which they tried to. So there was a congresswoman from Illinois who was trying to help us with getting him back, and we couldn't because it was simply the law. We also tried to go other routes, trying to figure out how to address it, and we were unsuccessful. So it's one of three things: either has been euthanized, turned over to research facilities, or given to a zoo. But I don't know which one they did.
And see, I'm an animal lover. Like when I say animal lover, man. But I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that happened to you because I know what it's like to have an animal. I just know how you feel. But I'm glad you have Kyra.
Yeah.
Does Kyra have her own YouTube channel or TikTok or Instagram?
No. But what Kyra is doing, and I don't do it on the internet because it's kind of a strange fight, but I'm part of a small community that's grown of monkey parents, and we're advocating for them to be legalized in America. And that is a long fight that we've organized and we've been doing behind the scenes, because there is a notion that these animals cannot be loving addendums to your family. It does take a special kind of family and a special kind of person, but I am fighting for them because I never want that to happen again. And it is something else I'm doing on top of dealing with dog. That's why I be telling people I'm really busy doing a lot of stuff. And that is a national fight. I'm trying to see if we can get them to allow them to become addendums to families and houses across America, every state.
Yeah, I think that movie Monkey Shine, didn't do
And you know what's crazy, bro? Like literally, since I've been finding this now, first South Carolina, they say monkeys escape, PCP on the lookout, and now in Florida, monkeys escape. Like,
Yeah. We got people out here that are way more dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good evening, and I'm gonna be checking in on Kyra. You come back and talk to us anytime if I didn't say that earlier. And we look forward to watching you still do what you do and get it done. And with the new developments and everything, I know that you'll take care of it in the best way possible. I want to thank all of your viewers. I know they came to see you. I want to thank you all for coming to our platform to watch this interview. I don't want that to go unnoticed. They wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for you. So I want to acknowledge that. If you care to do so, please subscribe to my channel so you can see what we have upcoming. We've got some fun stuff coming up. If you go to LaDonna Raeh's show on YouTube, you'll be able to subscribe and make comments, and you'll be able to see these comments. I'm telling you, they are rolling in and they're interesting. But and you can catch me on WVON next week. I'll be on there next Friday because of holiday. So and then I'll be on there tomorrow on WVON. VON is Voice of the Negro if you're not from Chicago, but it's been transformed into Voice of the Nation. So it's talk radio, and that stuff ain't easy. Playing radio music is easier, but talking for the whole time, woo!
yeah,
You gotta be able to do it. But thank you so much, Jedediah. My heart is with you. Keep smiling. Keep fighting. I almost started singing. Keep smiling. Keep shining. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it.
Jedidiah Brown, man, we appreciate you, brother.
no doubt. Anytime. Thank you all for having me.
All right, no problem. No problem at all. Good night,
All
Kyra.
right. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone. All right. So we have had the most interesting conversation with Jedidiah Brown. Uh, Lorenzo, what are your thoughts on the conversation? I know that we spoke a lot about Tiffany Henyard and the mayor of Dalton. She's the youngest black woman mayor that has ever been elected into Dalton. And she has taken that and taken it to another level of abuse of power. But after talking to Jedediah, and he's been boots on the ground and he's been involved since, maybe the beginning, and having his perspective on what went wrong and why these things happen. What is your take on the whole situation now that we've had Jedediah?
Even after having a conversation with brother Jedediah, I still have there's something in my heart that still kind of goes out for Tiffany Henyard and everything because I would like to think that maybe she could possibly recover from it. Like I said, I don't know the extent of the damage that has been done, but I'm always I always want to see success in someone who takes on a leadership role of that magnitude. Especially we're talking about a young black woman, and we're at a point in time in our life where not only do we need good leaders, but we're seeing a lot of leaders fall. And it's sad to say their fall is due to their own doing.
Yeah.
So so when I see things like this happen, it's disheartening for me because I want to see that success because we need more leaders that look like us.
We do.
And not only that, more leaders that look like us that are doing the right thing, because I truly don't believe that's in our nature. You know, when you look at a culture,
Wait, what's in our nature? Not to do the right thing or to do the right
doing
thing?
the wrong thing,
Right,
not
that's
doing
not in
the
our
right
nature.
thing. It's
I
just
agree.
not
Yeah.
in our nature, especially with what we have gone through. We are the children of the slaves that didn't die.
Mm.
And when you look at what we have gone through, we are a culture of people that has been able to stand and endure the most horrific forms of abuse, dehumanization, alienation, in whatever racism, terrorism, and we've endured these things. And when you are a nation of people that have endured and I'm not even talking about in the past, I'm talking about even up into the present.
Yeah, still going on.
We have been able to endure what no other culture most likely cannot endure. We've been able to endure that. So I would like to believe that when we have the opportunity to take on such a leadership role, that I would like to have thought that would have pushed us to a level, or put us in a position, or put us at a level of living to where we would be highly successful in those type of positions. So that saddens me. With people like Brother Jedediah, I loved it. We need more. I feel like we need more men like that because we're in a society, again, with a lack of testosterone. And I believe that we need more men with higher levels of testosterone. A lot of times, the way those type of men come off, it is going to be uncomfortable for some people. Some people ain't going to be able to deal with it. And I don't think we can deal with it because we're not used to it.
Right, but they get stuff done.
They get stuff done.
Yeah.
Regardless of the circumstances or what they're going to have to endure, they get stuff done.
A good example of that would be Donald Holmes, the principal at Thornwood High School in South Holland. He was a football coach. He has worked his way into becoming the principal of that high school, but the leadership is real and his presence is known.
Right.
And we don't have enough black principals in our school system to lead the schools. Now, not to say that women can't do it, but there's just a level of respect that goes and comes along with having a black male figure in those leadership positions, in those
Absolutely.
activism positions, and it doesn't say that women have to get behind them. It just says that we are a united, not even a united front, because it's no longer a front at that point. It is actually happening. Another example would have been Philip Jackson. He started the Black Star Project in Chicago. He wanted to focus on literacy for the community of our young people. And if the schools weren't going to do it, he took matters into his own hands, and it actually worked. My kids attended, and it was an amazing. I had the opportunity to interview him on WVON back in 2016. Unfortunately, he passed away, but his name still lives on, and so does his organization. We have some great examples, and one thing we have to do, because even after talking to Jedediah, I have a different perspective, and I have a great level of respect for Jedediah after talking to him. What you see online is not what you talk to when you actually talk to a person. We have to stop looking at what is presented online. It's social media, right? And media has a very specific reason or purpose, okay? But when you actually talk to someone and get to know them for real, the respect level can go up. Absolutely. And it can go far and wide. So I just want to thank Jedediah for coming on and having a real conversation with us, and that wasn't scripted, That was not, we didn't rehearse this beforehand. We said we would talk about Tiffany Henyard and the situation with the Dalton community. This was not to smear her name. This was to find out what our perspectives were, how we could bring it together and educate the people. That was it, pretty much.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully, I don't know, maybe a miracle will happen and maybe she might turn some things around. I don't know.
Well, her hair is smoking every day. I'm sorry. I got to give it to her. Her nails,
you know,
hair. She was always sharp, even before this,
It is, and how often is it that you get someone that beautiful to get into a position of power that she's in, and she could have the city of Dalton and the township in the palm of her hand. It just do the right thing. I don't know. I don't know how hard it is to do the right thing when you, I guess, from that position. What is it? It has to be something. It has to be something, behind the scenes that I'm not seeing.
Like the voices in her ear.
Flip flop. Like,
yeah, the voices in her ear. I don't. Again, being a single mom, someone did say in the comments, and I couldn't find it when I was looking for it, that they feel sorry for her daughter. I can only imagine what her daughter's going through. Her mommy is, and I'm saying mommy, her mommy is being smeared over and over, and whatever school she goes to, she's hearing this all the time. Like, leave my mother alone.
And it's hard. And look, I'm not even the type to smear somebody's name, because your name is your name. It's your brand, and I hate to see, someone's name be smeared, because or to see somebody go down in history as a horrible person or a horrible human being. So I'm hoping that something will happen, that'll change all that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It will. I think the people will speak. I almost feel like she doesn't want to be the mayor anymore, just based on her antics.
Look, after all of
she's
that,
like, I'm going out with a bang.
Look, I'm a human being, and I'm gonna tell you, and I can endure a lot. But as a human being, to be dehumanized and to be ridiculed, that starts chipping at your armor. They start chipping at your brick wall, and some of that stuff's gonna get through, and it's painful, and I hate to see anybody go through that type of pain. At the end of the day, she's still a human being, and I hate to see somebody flogged, or sent to, or burnt at the stake, So I'm hoping, something to turn around, or a miracle will happen, and
Yeah, we will. I'm not gonna go into the whole prayer thing, but you're gonna have to pray for your community people, okay? And I even pray for my leaders. I'm not a holy roller, don't get me wrong. I lead morning prayer on Tuesdays, but I will cuss somebody out. But for real though, we have to pray for our communities and our community leaders, because they are on a mission. Whatever that mission is, God has a path for them just like he has for us. I ain't about to preach, but I am going to be praying for Dalton, because I attended, like I said, Thornton, my first 2.5 years of high school. And then I went to Thornwood, my first 2.5 years. And then Thornton, my last couple of years of school, and I graduated. But these surrounding townships are all family. In fact, if you're not familiar with the townships that she is over Blue Island, the southern edge, Burnham, Calumet City, Dixmoor, Dalton, East Hazelcrest, Glenwood on the northern quarter, Harvey, the vast majority, Hazelcrest, small portions, Homewood, the northeast half, Lansing, Markham, Phoenix, Posen, Riverdale, South Holland, and Thornton. So she is over all of these villages, and I live in one of them. So I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray for our community, just because, not only are our property taxes going up, we got to pay for all this shenanigans that's going down.
Mm-hmm.
My pay didn't go up because of what's going on in my township. It didn't go up one bit. In fact, I'm glad gas is where it is, because if it wasn't, the cost of food. We have River Oaks shopping mall that's not doing well. A lot of businesses are pulling out of the Thornton Township. There's a lot of vacant buildings and storefronts. And on top of that, there are vacant homes. People are losing their homes in these communities. And when you lose homes, when the community has abandoned homes, the property value goes down, but the property taxes went up, not based on assessment, but based on commercial businesses not paying into the taxes. And on top of that, the last time I checked in with the mayor's office, the River Oaks Mall was $10 million plus behind in their taxes. All of this is painstaking, and we can't just sit back and go, damn. We can't. You know, we have to go to those city council meetings. We have to have our voices heard. Like Jedediah said, they knew when he was coming through the door, oh, shoot, what's his problem? Fix it. I just want him to go away. Well, that should be you for real. That should be you, and that should be whoever lives in your community. Show up and show out and vote. I'm not trying to preach. I'm not. It's just an opportunity to share what I've been seeing, what we have all been seeing. We have more power than we have more power than we utilize. It's just that simple. We're gonna get out of here. What you say, Chief?
Yeah, let's say a prayer and I guess get out.
Yes. All right, guys, you are watching Relationshipping on YouTube on the LaDonna Raeh Show with LaDonna Raeh and
Lorenzo T. Hughes.
Yeah, check Lorenzo out. He's all modest about it, but he's an actor for real. Okay, so Google him. Make sure you find the light skinned one, because there's two of them with the same middle initial. And you can find me on WVON tomorrow. I'll be on from 9 to 10 a.m. And then next week, Friday, I will be on from 9 a.m. to 12. Yeah, the whole day. Yeah, that part.
Yes.
All right.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes. Bye-bye for now.